Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Lanky Trader. I'm going to run you guys through all the trades I took this week from 9th of June to 15th of June. So let's get started. We'll walk away from gold, then US30, then NASDAQ. So we'll start with gold. So you guys know we mark out a 930 candle. This is our 930 candle here. We'll mark out the range, and by using New York time, so we'll mark out the range. That's the high and low. Then we wait for the break. In this case, we got the break above. Our stops at the low. Enter for our buy, and we target a 1 to 1.5. And you can see that we hit our take profit beautifully here. That was on Monday. On Tuesday, 10th of June, same thing. We mark out a 930 candle here. Mark out the range. We have a break below. Stops at the high, we enter for our sell, and we target a 1 to 1.5, and you can see that we hit our take profit beautifully here. This was on Tuesday. Then our Wednesday setup. So our Wednesday setup was kind of, we had the double setup on Wednesday. Why? Because we did not hit our main targets here, and you can see that market took this liquidity here. You can see that there's a liquidity pool here. This one touch, this two touch, this three touch. The market came and took out all this liquidity, resting liquidity here. So when I saw that it took out this liquidity and still broke above this high, I decided to take the buy. So let's start. So this is our 930 candle here. Mark out the range, the high and the low of the 930 candle. I put my stops above this wick here. So we entered for the sell. We came down, then we went into drawdown. Then finally we still came back down, and we took 1 to 1.3 profits from this setup. Then after that, we reversed and broke back above this level and retested. So I entered off this retest, and our target was a 1 to 2, and we hit our take profits. So all this happened during the New York session before the close of day. That's before 5 o'clock. So we were able to get like 2 setups. This rarely happens, but in this case it did, and we took advantage of it. So that was our Wednesday trade. Our 930 candle here. We enter for our sell. Stops at the high. We target a 1 to 1.5. We didn't hit 1 to 1.5 here. We ended up reversing. We broke above our 930 candle range. We retested, entered off the retest, stops below the range, and we target a 1 to 2, and you can see that we hit our target beautifully here. So that's how our Wednesday trade went. Then for our Thursday setup, so our Thursday setup was a very slow setup. We ranged most of the time, like outside the New York session. So I think it broke out in the Asian session, but we still took the trade. So this is our 930 candle here. We'll mark out the range. So this is our 930 candle range here, our 15-minute range. So market just ranged throughout the whole New York session, then broke out in Asian session. And if you guys trade gold, you know that now in Asian session is when gold really makes a lot of big moves. So I just waited. When it broke out eventually, I entered my buy on the 5 minutes close of this 15-minute range. Stops at the low, and my target was a 1 to 1.5. And you can see that we hit our take profits here nicely. Then plus this breaker block that supported our bias. So all this ended up being a very, very clean and good trade. Then our Friday setup. This is our Friday setup right here. So you guys know we'll mark out our 930 candle. This is our 930 candle here. Mark out the high and the low. So we had a break below. We entered off the 5-minute close of this 15-minute range. Stops at the high, and our target was a 1 to 1.5. And you can see that we hit our target beautifully. So that's how all our trades went on gold. We had about 5 wins this week. If you include this, that's 6. We had 6 wins on gold this week, trading open range breakouts, our 15-minute opening range breakout strategy. So you guys see that our strategy has a very high strike rate. So if you just keep it consistent, keep it to 1 to 1.5, highest 1 to 2 risk to reward per trade, and you consistently follow it, plus the risk management strategy that I uploaded on my channel last week, you use that, then plus this strategy, you see that you'll be highly profitable. You don't have to make your strategy so complicated. you can make money in the market using a simple strategy with simple risk management strategy. So that's just how it works. So let me run you guys through my US30 trade. So US30 was a lot choppy this week, but we are able to still bag some profits this week. So on Monday, our Monday setup was a loss. So this is our Monday setup here, Monday 9 June. So we had our 9:30 candle here, which is this candle. We marked out our range. This is our range right here, the high and the low. We wait for our break. We got a break below. I entered the sell. It started well, had some momentum, but eventually we got stopped out. So I didn't re-enter this trade. I just left it like that. So this was our Tuesday setup. So our Tuesday setup was also a loss. So we mark our 9:30 candle. These are 9:30 candle here. Mark out the high and the low of our 9:30 candle. We had a break below. We had a break above. We entered our buy, then we got stopped out by this week. I think we had news that day. We had news on Tuesday, so this week just stopped us out. Then eventually we went up to take this take profits. So I didn't re-enter this trade. I just left it like that because I had wins from gold and US and Nasdaq, so I didn't want to mess up the wins on that side. So I just entered all these trades once. So this was our Wednesday trade. So we have our 9:30 candle here. We mark out the high and the low of our 9:30 candle. We wait for a break. We had the break above. We entered off the 5 minutes close of this 15-minute range. Stops at the low, and we target a 1 to 1.5. And you can see that we hit our take profits here. That was our Wednesday trade. Then our Thursday trade, we mark out our 9:30 candle range, high and low. We had a break above. We entered off the 5-minute close of this 15-minute range. Stops at the low, and our target was a 1 to 1.5, and you can see we didn't hit the 1 to 1.5. So after we started showing low momentum, I just closed the trade around here before market now went back down. So that's how our Thursday's trade went. Then on Friday was a good trade setup. So we have our 9:30 candle here. This is our 9:30 candle. We mark out the range, our high and our low of our 9:30 candle. So we had a break below. We entered this sell of the 5-minute close of this 15-minute range. Stops at the high. You can see that there's a breakout block here. So we just put our stops above that breakout block. Then our target was a 1 to 1.5, and you can see we entered into drawdown. We had profits first, then entered into drawdown. Then it retested this breakout block. Then we now had our sell, and we had our 1 to 1.5. So that's how our trades went on US30 this week. We had like 2 losses this week. Yeah, we had 2 losses this week and 3 wins. So I told you guys in my risk management video that on average I have 3 wins per week, like 3 wins and 2 losses on average. Not every time, but on average, calculating all the trades I've taken, I have an average of 3 wins and 2 losses every week. So that's how our US30 trade went this week. So on our Nasdaq setup, so let's run through our Nasdaq setup. So these are our Nasdaq setup here. This is our Monday trade right here. So as you guys know, we'll mark out our opening range, with our 15-minute opening range. This is our range right here, our 9:30 candle. This is it. We'll mark out the high and the low of that 9:30 candle. We wait for a break. We had the break above. We enter off the 5-minute close of this 15-minute range. Then stops at the low, target to 1 to 1.5, and you can see we hit our setup right here. So on Tuesday, same principle. So I told you guys that there was news, so you can see that spike here on Tuesday. So this is our 9:30 candle right here. We'll mark out the high and the low of our 9:30 candle. Then we wait for a break. So we had a break here, but because of that news, I didn't enter. I've already entered on US30, and I've learnt my lesson. I've learnt my lesson because mainly we entered, you guys saw it, we got stopped out immediately. So this hasn't broken out yet. So when this happened, I knew that it was going into this liquidity zone here. Then we ended up rejecting. If you guys trade US30, Nasdaq, gold, you know that if markets starts going in a direction at the beginning, like when a new candle opens and market goes in a particular direction at first, eventually market will reverse towards the close of that candle and close in the opposite direction. So for example, if we open a new 15-minute candle and the market starts selling first, then start selling first towards the end of that 15-minute candle lifespan, it will reject and close either bullish or close into a bearish doji or something like that. So that's what happened here. We opened bearish. You can see that there is no wick on top of this candle, so we went down first, tapped into this liquidity zone here, then before we now rejected back into towards the close of that 15-minute candle. Then you can see we now broke out. So that was enough confirmation. So immediately we broke out here, entered off the 5-minute close of this 15-minute range, stops at the low. Then our target was a 1 to 1.5, and you can see that we hit our take profit nicely right here. So that was our Tuesday's trade. So our Wednesday's trade, our first setup was a loss. So this is our 930 candle right here. Mark out the high and the low of our 930 candle. So we got wicked out here. Then we now had a breakout here. It entered off the 5-minute close, stops at the low. We got stopped out. Fine. So we had the second entry here with this candle. We got a break below. I entered off the 5-minute close of this 15-minute range, stops at the high, and our target was a 1 to 1.5, but he ended up giving us a 1 to 2. So that was also nice. So that was our Wednesday's trade. Then our Thursday setup. This is our Thursday setup right here. We had our 930 candle here. Mark out the high and the low of our 930 candle. We broke above. We entered off the 5-minute close of this 15-minute range. Stops at the low, and our target is a 1 to 1.5, and you can see that we hit our take profit nicely right here. So that was our Thursday's trade. Then our Friday's trade was a loss. This is our Friday's trade right here. We mark out our 930 candle high and low. So the 930 candle I'm talking about is not a Nigerian time. So if you are trading on Nigerian time, so my chart is set to New York open, New York time. This is New York time right here. So if you are trading on a Nigerian time, you are going to wait for the 2:30 p.m. candle. That's the candle you trade with. That's the 2:30 p.m. But since I'm using New York, you can see here I'm using New York. That's 9:30 a.m. New York. So mark out the high and the low. We had our break below. We entered and we got stopped out. So that's how our Friday's trade went. So if you guys like content like this, please drop a like, subscribe. Chances that you see my content, if you are not subscribed and you don't like this video, is very slim. So please like, subscribe, turn on that bell icon so that YouTube can recommend and push my videos to you guys more often. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.